We are currently in the 21st century. There is more technology and more help from technology available than ever before. Harness the power of technology. As I've said before, I make flashcards for everything. I think flashcards are probably one of the best ways that you can revise anything that you need to memorize. And I make my flashcards electronically. I choose to make my flashcards in Notion, but like I said before, you can choose to make them in Anki, in Chegg, in Quizlet, even just on PowerPoint. By having them made electronically, you can do some amazing things with them. You can study any way you want, whenever you have the time. You can change the font, the color of the text, the spacing of your words, the color of the background, anything to suit your reading. You can use text-to-speech tools, or even speech-to-text to make them. Text-to-speech is where your computer or your phone reads out the written words to you. Speech-to-text is where you dictate into your device and it turns your words into written text. You can even use software like Anki or like my program in Notion to create spaced repetition so that it will remind you when you're next due to do that specific flashcard. If you haven't already tried them and you're not currently using them, I would really recommend you give speech-to-text or dictation tools a go. The industry standard for this is probably Dragon. It's quite an expensive software, although if you're in the UK and you have dyslexia, you're able to get it through your disabled students allowance. So if you contact Student Finance England and get your disabled students allowance, they should set you up with the Dragon software. However, Word, Google Docs, your Mac, your phone, all have speech-to-text inbuilt. You can use speech-to-text to write anything, from notes to yourself. You could write flashcards. You can even write entire essays using speech-to-text. Now, on the flip side from that, I would advise anyone, dyslexic or not, to be using text-to-speech. Learning is an active process, and if you can enlist as many different senses as possible, you're winning. Read your notes, and while you're reading your notes, have your computer, your phone, your tablet, read your notes out loud to you. You're going to be using two senses at once to read the same information, firing up more of those neurons, embedding that information deeper into your brain. I use this to read my flashcards to me, particularly when I feel like I've been using a screen all day and I just want to listen rather than read. I also use this to proofread all of my essays. I'm someone who definitely can change the words that I'm reading in my head as I read them, and so by listening to it out loud, I get another chance to go through and make sure there's not something that is completely nonsensical. On that note, if you're someone that does a lot of writing, let's say you do a lot of essays, maybe you work somewhere where you have to do some copywriting, use a free tool like Grammarly as an extra way of proofreading. Now obviously something like Google Docs or Word or Pages already has a kind of proofreading thing inbuilt. It should try and correct your grammar or your spelling. Grammarly kind of goes a step above that and it will do spelling, grammar, but it will also remind you if something doesn't quite make sense in the context. Grammarly also has quite a cool feature right now. I think it's only in beta, but it tells you the tone of the text that you've just written. So if you've written something out that was supposed to be a presentation to your boss, or it's an essay that's supposed to be very formal, Grammarly might say, this is reading quite informal and cheerful. And maybe that's not the tone you were going for, and you can try and rewrite it a little bit. I'm going to take this opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Dibblin. I'm a fourth year medical student studying at King's College London. If you have reading assigned to you, find the audiobook and listen to it. If there is no audiobook available, find the ebook online somewhere and then use a free app like Speechify, or you can even use your device's inbuilt accessibility tools to read the text out loud to you. Following on from that, Kindle and Audible, both owned by Amazon, have teamed up to link your audiobook with your Kindle book. So you can read your Kindle book and listen to the words on the audiobook at the same time. This program is called WhisperSync, and it's not actually one that I've tried out yet, but I only heard about it while researching for this, and I really want to try it out now. The last thing I'll say about harnessing the power of technology is mostly aimed at people who are not already harnessing the power of technology. If you're already using a tablet or something else electronic to record your notes or to write your notes, skip ahead about 30 seconds. I'll explain a little bit more. If you're currently taking handwritten notes on paper with pen and paper, I would consider investing in something like the LiveScribe Smart Pen. This pen records audio while you're writing, and what that means is you can look at the notes that you've written and listen to whatever you were hearing at the time of writing those notes. So if you're in a lecture, you can listen to the lecture while reading through the notes that you've taken. If you're someone that already uses like an iPad with an Apple Pen to try and take your handwritten notes, you can just record audio on your iPad while you're taking the notes. Or if you use an app like Notable, I think there's an audio option already in there. If you're someone who's interested in starting to take your notes electronically, maybe you're moving over from another app, or maybe up until now you've been doing all of your notes handwritten on paper, check out this video. This is all about how I make my notes in an app called Notion, and it's broken down with a little template that you can download straight away and start using. If you're someone with dyslexia and thinking about applying to medical school, check out this video where I talk about whether you are able to get through medical school with dyslexia. Make sure to subscribe and share this video with your friends for more.